Who agrees? Writing a book would be so much easier if we never had to face the blank page. That's pretty much what we talk about in this YouTube channel. Different ways to approach your book so you can establish a regular writing practice and finish. And so today I want to talk about something that's been working so well for my book coaching clients, and that is 5 questions that you can put at the beginning of any chapter that will help you focus, that will help you get into flow, and that will also make the book so much better because you kind of have these structural prompts that really bring your reader into the book and you as the writer into the book as well. So these work whether you're writing fiction or personal development. And so if you're writing fiction, you have a protagonist in the book. There's a fictional character who is the hero for your book. If you're writing self-help or personal development, then your reader is really the protagonist. Your reader is the hero of the book. And so in both types, your reader or your protagonist is going on a journey. A book is always a journey. And so this is why these 5 questions that I'm going to talk about today, they work for both fiction and personal development or self-help. So no matter what you're writing, this is gonna be really supportive. It's worked so well for my clients. Now, of course, we're assuming that when you have these chapters, you already have a basic outline. I want to give you a quick resource before we get into the 5 questions, and that's my book because it's one place where I go into detail and give you everything you need to know about creating that outline. So chapter 7 in this book, you can figure out what your outline is, and then you have that big picture structure to go from. And then from there, whenever you're sitting down to write a chapter, let's go into these 5 questions together. So question number 1, you can put this at the top of your document whenever you're creating a new chapter. What changes in this chapter? So this is a really important structural point. You in every single chapter, you want to have a turning point, a reveal, something that changes the book. That's what keeps your reader going. It makes the book adventurous. It makes the book romantic. If you're writing a romance, you're always doing those twists and turns on every single chapter. So this is a great starting off point. What is going to change in this chapter? And if you're writing personal development and self-help, well, then you want to talk about what's changing for the reader. So why is the reader going to need this chapter? What will change for them? What will they find out? What will they know? Putting it this way, what changes is just a really good way to get to the core of the chapter, to make sure that what you're working with is exciting, it's interesting, and it's going to serve the reader. So number 1, what changes? Number 2, what are the emotions of this chapter? How do you want your reader to feel? So of course, this is so important to ask about the book in general. What is the central emotion of this book? Is it love? Is it loving emotions? Is it excitement? Is it thrills? Is it fear? Is it growth? How do you want your reader to feel when they're reading the book? And then in every individual chapter, is this a chapter dominated by excitement? Is this a chapter dominated by sadness? If you just did these 2 questions, what changes and what is the central emotion of the chapter, it's going to make your writing so much more targeted. You're not going to be as confused. You'll be more focused, and then the reader is going to experience more change and more emotion as a result. So if you're ever lost, remember, just put these questions at the beginning of every chapter. But now, if you get overwhelmed, stop there. Those 2 questions will make your chapters so much better. But of course, I want to go into more detail. If you're quite a ways into your book and you're ready to handle more, let's go into 3 more questions for a total of 5 questions. I'm all about the numbers today. So question number 3, why is this chapter necessary? This is going to help you from going off on a tangent or going off into stream of consciousness. Now, if you've decided what changes on this chapter, you've got the core of the chapter. but make sure that this chapter is really necessary, that you're not inventing extra fluff, that you're really going to stay strong to the core of your outline, and everything is necessary, that you're going to stay close to the reader. Because if you start to put in material that's tangential or not necessary, this is when readers tend to put the book down. And so if you want people to get to the end, and if you want to get to the end yourself, avoid writing unnecessary chapters and just ask yourself at the beginning, why is this chapter absolutely necessary for the book? Question number 4. Now, going a little deeper into this, this is going to help you write. What are the key points you need to cover in this chapter? So, for instance, if you're writing a thriller, you might have certain reveals that need to strategically be placed in this scene or this chapter. You might have characterization points where you want to get to know someone better. If you're writing personal development, this is where you go into, these are the essential things that my reader needs to know in order to get the win, the personal growth that is happening in this book. And so that, if you just put those at the top of the page, it's going to help you focus, and it's going to make writing so much easier. Then the final question to put on the top of every chapter is, what's the hook? And so this is an extra challenge. I would say this is the bonus question. There's a hook for the book that makes people want to read it, but then there can be a hook for every chapter. This is the incentive to make them keep reading. And so if you focus on what's the hook that's going to get them to the next chapter, what's the open loop, as I like to say, the unknown, the question, the thing that they're going to want to do next, know next, to get to the next point. So this is a little advanced, but it's going to make your book much better if you're really trying to hook people all the way through so that the book is a flowing experience. So I have more resources for you. I already mentioned, if you want to go deep into outlining, there's also information about publishing, everything you need to know, outlining, writing, publishing, creative flow, all of that is in here. And I'm also going to put a free course below, a link for a free course right below, which is the regular writing habit course. That's also really going to help you come back to the page again and again to the point where you actually crave writing. It's not something where you feel behind. It's something you love and you're doing on a regular basis. And so if this is helpful for you, if you want more information like this, subscribe to the channel right here. And thank you so much for watching. So much love. Talk soon.